Hello everyone, welcome back to We Are Kind of Surviving, which is nice. And we get a single factory for our je ne sais quoi endeavors, which is very nice. All this territory we control, we have barely 215 factories. With the remnants of the German Reich over here, they still have many more factories than us. The French, though, are still at a disadvantage, which is fascinating. The United States, however, is the global industrial superpower, and we'll never be able to catch up to them. Because they're bad. Very, very bad. Now here's the part where I lament the fact that they don't have any real motorized forces at this time. Which is really annoying because that would have enabled me to make a much quicker advance in the Soviet Union, but you know, it takes a lot of resources to employ that type of soldier, and resources are something we're really quite short on, but we will begin to produce them in earnest now. We are suffering from a disgusting shortage of support equipment, so much so that I'm actually going to rescind that order I just gave, is what I would say if it wasn't for the fact that we do not have enough aluminum to support that. We only have 48 to our name. I'm not even sure if that's from what we have or what we're trading. I suppose I can check. Yeah, we're not trading at all. We produce 48 aluminum. We're not exporting any of it, actually. Ah, yes, I remember now. I closed my economy not too long ago, by which I mean several years ago. Okay, then. We are now fully encrypted, so now no one could figure out what the Chinese are doing. We'll do Concentrated Industry 5 because that's useful. We now have the interior of China opened up to us for positive things to be built here, which is very nice. We haven't been able to have such an opportunity now for what? Because we've been busy doing things like repairing the shattered infrastructure of our country and occupied territories. And we'll continue that practice here and bump everyone up to the top. Because we really do need to get our supply situation under control. It is the one thing that's killing the most Chinese soldiers. And honestly, if it continues much longer, we will be forced to put a pause to our offensive. And that will allow the Allies a unfortunate amount of time to deal with things in the West. Or will it? We'll continue this offensive season and begin to die down in the fall. And at that time, we'll pause for the winter. Actually, speaking about pausing for the winter, we have almost pushed them entirely out of the hospitable zone of Russia. Once we get up to this point right here, it takes 70 years to move a province. So we will try and avoid doing that as much as possible. Honestly, our goal here, if we can manage it, is to cut them off at the Urals. And doing so would be a fantastic feat. But our concern now is transferring our artillery production now from regular artillery to Rocket Artillery 2, which is going to help us greatly. So hopefully we can get some sort of decent reserve in time to replace our stockpiles, which are going to drain, well, by the looks of it, within days. We're losing 100 a day, we have 12,000, 10... In 100 days we're going to run out of artillery pieces. Oh, that's not good. And we're nowhere near close enough to producing a reserve sustainable with rocket artillery. However, let's hope that the winter lull in combat will help things greatly. And if we can do some research into synthetics, that actually might be a big boon to our forces as well. I believe September 1st would be a good point to begin slowing down offensive actions, at least in this zone, and actually considering the temperature differential, we'll begin slowing things down here. As it appears to be, the Russians are doubling down. That was not expected. Not unwelcome to say, but not expected. We have a little salient here where we can trap 2 Russian divisions, which is very good. The more divisions we can encircle and trap will go greatly towards our eventual goal of conquering the SSSR, as I call it at times, like right now and only right now. Well, I believe this is the Ural Sea. We have advanced to the Ural Sea, or the Pax Americana. So we are drawing in on the actual heartland of the Soviet Union. I suppose our goal, once we reach, I believe Astrakhan, Astrakhan. Our goal right now is to reach the Astrakhan area, and from there, the whole of the Soviet interior is open up to us. Because we move from horrible deserts and forests and nothing into the greatly developed by relative comparison of the heartland of the Soviet Union, and we are losing people at an acceptable rate only to China, which is part of the reason I wanted to play as them. So I believe as a result of our... Now, I don't like to do anything more than gentle, because resistance is a very annoying thing to deal with, but manpower, factories. Honestly, I don't need the factory, so I will go to gentlest on all these people. If I go on harshest, I lose quite a bit of political power. Actually, go on harshest for China, because that's my territory. That's rightful Chinese land. Well, I took it from China for giving it back to China. It's fine. Everything's fine. It all makes sense. Now, speaking of making sense, only if I remember what I was going to build. That is the true question today. I was going to build a very specific thing. Yes. Maybe. Maybe. I guess for now we'll just do excavation. I really wish I remembered what I wanted to build. I suppose I'll compensate by staring at the tech tree for an ungodly amount of time. We want to improve our maintenance company. Oh, synthetics. Synthetics. I am willing to cut this tech in half to get synthetics. Because we are in dire need of synthetic oil. For the benefits of actually getting rubber and oil. Because as you can see, that is where our biggest issue lay. Well, besides aluminum, and you can't synthetically produce aluminum, sadly. But all in due time, ladies and gents. All in due time. Oh, good God. The Japanese are actually trying to begin an offensive here. Which is horrifying and, I suppose, kind of tolerable. It is now October, and at the end of the month, we will begin to slow our offensive into Soviet land. Yeah. We're in a good supply situation right now, so actually, right now is going to be the end of offensive actions until the beginning of next year. By beginning of next year, I mean, like, March. Because we do not have the ability to sustain offensives for a little while. Why, you might ask? Because we are no longer producing artillery, and we need artillery to function with any sort of sanity. So we're going to spend this time building up the infrastructure of the Soviet Union up to pitiful level 4. But that should suffice for our needs currently. Hell, even up here it's at level 4. So after that, we don't need to build rockets. Or do we? Oh, that takes away a slot. I was going to build a rocket site to bomb the hell out of the Japanese. And you know what? I think I still might. Because that is a very tempting offer. Yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun. Speaking of the hell with it, we are going to begin building air bases along this axis. Because we do want the ability to begin taking air superiority operations against the Soviet Union as soon as we can. And when we take control of the air, we'll be able to greatly hinder the Soviets' advance, or retreat. Which, while we do want them to retreat, we want them to retreat on our own terms. Now we're going to begin doing the atomic tech, so I will do that, and I will take the focus for not nuclear effort yet, but this. We'll get 50% off, then we'll boost it, so we can do a thing. That thing is currently secret. The Soviet Union seems to have put the bulk of their forces on our front, because they have lost Latvia in an invasion. Berlin, however, has fallen, and the Axis is done. They're donezo. Germans can't have much fight left in them at this point, especially noting how much territory they control. Of their home territory at the beginning of the war, they probably only control half, and it's the less valuable half. For Germany, the most valuable bits would be centered around the Ruhr and Berlin. So this little oval shape right here. And losing that will be crippling to them, I'm sure. But we'll check in on them later and laugh at the inevitable capitulation screen. So we're beginning to get quite a decent number of artillery pieces produced a day now. We need to increase the speed that it goes up. So I believe we're researching that tech. No, we're not. Should have researched that. The tech I'm referring to is this one. Steamline production. It gives growth by 25% It is fantastic. Flexible production. Retention is something I don't care about. Because lines in general are probably going to be switched to more drastic things than the same model. So we'll keep quicker growth as our goal, but it'll be another good few weeks before we can consider another offensive action, maybe. But probably when we're producing 50 a day, we'll be in a decent spot, because then we can begin transitioning over to better artillery. And actually, I see something that's just too juicy to not do. Trapping a few Soviet remnants is really quite a fantastic thing to do. We'll pick one of these folks up and then bam. Oh wow, we didn't trap them in here. That was unexpected. I didn't realize that there was river crossing. There was Ashkabad. That sounds like the place in Aladdin. Or what's it called? I suppose Azkaban also qualifies. Well, that notwithstanding, that little pocket there has earned us a little bit more territory and a little bit more dead Soviet. Which is very desirable for a few reasons. Because, well, the Soviets are a unending mass of human. And that is not good. Admittedly, it is not that it matters that much, because we have 25 million men in reserve, and we're only on volunteer only. We're on volunteer only, and they're beginning to whip people. While we do have less factories and less men on the field, we do have superior force, which is good to note. And on that note, how is our synthetic oil experiments going? 85 days left. Soon we'll be able to field synthetic oil plants and jets. And when we get jets, they are very nice. Very nice to use. And if we're able to sneak our way into the 1950s jet, we'll be in a really good spot. Yeah, the Allies have advanced into Saxony now and are on the edge of the Sudetenland. Honestly, if the Allies could do a nice armored thrust, well, probably wouldn't work that easily, but gaining control of this little line here would cut the remainder of the Axis's forces in half and would go very nicely towards an Allied victory. So when we get to 5,000, I do believe we are going to, well, considering it's February now, I'm going to issue the order now of assigning a different type of artillery, a better artillery, one that will give us significantly better results, I feel. So, save. And we have a shortage of a lot. Holy hell. I didn't realize we had that many units on the field now, to be entirely honest. You all are unneeded right now, so we'll fire you. That reduced it by a lot. Yeah, our issue right now isn't divisions on the field. It is equipping those divisions on the field. And something I'm going to do, and that I regret doing now. I need more men. And I need you all to go away. You go back to the front. You know, this would be the perfect opportunity to train motorized divisions en masse. You know, 12 should do it. Cancel all. 1. And then add 1 more. Cool. So we're gonna make these square. And add support artillery and support rocket artillery. Therefore, diminishing our already diminished reserves and make these guys elite. And we will deploy you in our closest province to the front. How many trucks do we need? 4,000. 4,000 trucks. We are not in a pretty spot right now. We're barely holding on. Barely holding on. It's March 44 now. We're almost in 45, which gives us the readily access something to nukes, and nukes are nice. We'll begin the spring offensive as soon as I can get some trucks on the ground. Oh, I don't like that though. We need more. A lot more. And considering the priority we need to put them on, I'm willing to sacrifice a few things. We're almost producing 50 artillery pieces a day, which is very good. We're still 4,600 in the hole. You know, that's fine. As I like to say, everything's fine, don't worry. Yeah, let's begin Operation whatever the hell again. We have a lot of planning bonus, and the Soviets should be falling back in high numbers due to all the advantages we have on the field now. By which I mean, well, technically kind of thin. But we will be able to push through and conquer the area around the Ural Sea, which will be quite useful. We just need to cut off this force. Good, good, good. Now you take this and you go here. Yeah, the Soviets are beginning to fall back now. The spring offensive is going well. I really want to see the Soviet losses to climb higher than mine, and the relative difference is shrinking, I believe, compared to its greatest terrible extent that it was not too long ago. So our goal now is to cross the river, and if we can, take great advantage of it and encircle a whole bunch of men down here. And synthetic oil is finally down the pike. We'll avoid it for now and instead focus on regular manufacture. But we will produce a lot of it in occupied, and by which I mean occupied, I mean where we live territories. And force everything down to the front, or the back, I guess. So, scrolling down, all of these are the prime area of China right now. We need oil, and we will make sure we get it. But massive construction projects will continue next time. I hope everyone enjoyed. This is episode something of Blitzkrieg 2, by which I mean Hearts of Iron 4. And I'm hoping in the next few episodes here we can call victory in regaining our territory. We're probably going to conquer all the Soviet Union because the hell with them, they're kind of jerks. But regain Chinese territory and leave them as a little rump state. It'll be fine. And rump state, I mean, they own this. Maybe. Maybe I'll just leave them with Crimea. But we'll see next time.